What the doctor ordered. He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. Arabic proverb. The New Year holiday period in Japan always provides a good opportunity to look ahead to the future and think of family. And this was especially true this year for at least one foreign couple here, as well as for me. As 2014 dawned, I was touched and honored to be named godfather of a new baby boy, Luke, who was born safely in a mostly empty Tokyo hospital. Luke's parents, an American couple who are personal friends of mine currently staying in Japan on business for 2 years, had nothing but praise for the medical care Luke and his mother received here. I don't speak Japanese at all, and of course I was nervous about having a baby so far from home, said his mother. But fortunately it turns out I had nothing at all to worry about. The joy of Luke's parents and their ability to overcome a potentially daunting cultural and linguistic challenges struck me as a good jumping-off place for an investigation into how foreigners experience medical care in Japan. When I started to collect information for this article, the first thing that struck me was the wide range of opinions expressed by foreigners about Japan's healthcare system. I heard everything from high praise to darkly muttered criticisms, and it quickly became apparent that feelings about this matter are strong, while consensus is elusive. Perhaps this should not be a surprise. All human beings care passionately about their own health, and even within a given country, viewpoints on healthcare differ endlessly. First, the good news. Japanese healthcare is generally praised around the world for its use of advanced equipment, techniques, and skills, as well as its accessibility for most members of society. In a 2008 report, the U.S. news source NPR, National Public Radio, heaped lavish praise on the Japanese healthcare system, describing Japan as a country with the longest life expectancy, excellent health results, no waiting lists, and rock-bottom medical costs. These sentiments have been echoed by a number of foreigners I have spoken with over the years. It is easy for me to visit a doctor here without an appointment, said one friend from the United States. I like the fact that I can go to a small neighborhood clinic, even in a big city, and I feel that I know my doctor well, said a long-term Canadian resident. If you have a chronic condition, such as high blood pressure, she continued, it is comforting to be able to visit a clinic that is familiar with your personal history. This is something I have been able to do in Japan more easily than in Canada. Other factors that have earned high praise include relatively low costs, an opinion frequently expressed by citizens of the United States in particular, and the thoroughness of many treatments. I like getting pills in small packets rather than bottles, as in the U.S., my American friend said. It makes it easier to remember how much you need to take each day. A man from New Zealand appreciates the focus on preventative care and Japan's Ningen-daku whole-body examinations. I feel that it is very important to take care of problems before they happen, and the system here allows me to do so. Feeling under the weather. While many people have positive things to say about Japanese healthcare, others are more critical. A frequent complaint is the short duration of clinic visits. 10 minutes is not enough time for me to explain myself, especially given the language barrier, fumed one woman from Europe. I worry about what would happen if I had a serious or complex problem. Unsurprisingly, the issue of language comes up often. No matter how good my Japanese, and no matter how good the doctor's English, communication is always complicated when it comes to health issues. After all, I might have trouble understanding these matters even at home, said one woman who wished to remain anonymous. Over the years I have lived here, complaints from foreigners have also included difficulty understanding and using the insurance system, the feeling that Japanese doctors do not share enough information, and grumblings that physicians often lack a good bedside manner. More than once I have heard people say that they have been subjected to painful procedures without sufficient anesthesia or pain-killing medication, being told to simply endure it, or gaman suru. I asked my own personal physician for his opinions on this. Gaman is a very important part of Japanese culture, he said. Learning to put up with pain is sometimes a valuable part of the healing process. Maybe he has a good point. Regardless, pain is never an easy thing for anyone, at home or abroad, and it is always an emotional issue. Culture still matters. In addition to positive and negative opinions, many foreigners simply note an unavoidable struggle with cultural differences, especially at first. During my first winter here, I was surprised to see so many people wearing face masks. I wondered if there was some kind of dangerous disease, or perhaps heavy pollution, said a European woman. Eventually, however, I got used to it, and now I think it is a good representation of Japanese consideration for others in public. She also mentioned that she had picked up the Japanese tradition of gargling salt water for a cold or sore throat, something I had never been aware of before living here either. Psychological care is another area about which perceptions differ. Some North Americans and Europeans visit psychologists just to let off steam or for general mental health maintenance, even if they have not been diagnosed with specific mental issues. Foreigners sometimes feel that patients seeking psychological help are overly stigmatized in Japan, or simply more likely to be medicated rather than treated through counseling. This situation may be changing, but it is still a frustration I hear expressed from time to time. Stay healthy. The contradictions I found in personal opinions are mirrored by conflicting trends in the bigger picture. Globally, medical care is a booming business area, offering many opportunities, from the promise of new pharmaceutical and genetic knowledge to the possibility of medical robots and other forms of healthcare technology. At the same time, demographic challenges loom for both Japan and the world as a whole, as nations struggle with surging or declining birth rates and changes in life expectancy. When my godchild Luke is an adult, he will face a very different healthcare picture, regardless of where he lives in the world. But hasn't this always been the case? In the meantime, while we wait for the future, bundle up, keep warm, and please accept my very best wishes for your own health and happiness.